Meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Kish is here. Yurik is
Yeah, David
en
just
route.
sent a message, yes. And Chris, before you get started, we'll go through the minutes here, but after the minutes, we do have legal counsel Tom Mangan from the prosecutor's office here for an executive session. So after the minutes, I'd like to call an executive session for that issue, okay? So Tom can then leave when we're finished.
Okay.
Excuse me, Trustee Lynch, but since Dave is not here, I certainly.
But then we'll go till David comes.
Yeah, I think we should wait till he comes. Thank you.
Okay. I have the November 22nd, 2022 Amherst Township meeting minutes. The meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. by Lynch, pledge to the flag. Roll call, Abraham, Lynch, Yurik, and Kish were present. Also in attendance, L. Ashley, G. Lynch, K. Smarsh, and S. D'Ambrosio. 11-9-22, a motion by Yurik, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the November 8th, 2022 regular meeting minutes as corrected. All ayes. 11-10-22, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the financial reports and payment of items on the payment listing, which includes ARPA fund expenditures as specified in documents provided by the fiscal officer. Roll call, all ayes. 11-11-22, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Yurik. Move to approve that the October 2022 credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy and is accepted as presented, subject to investigation. All ayes. Under correspondence, Fiscal Officer Kish noted correspondence from the prosecutor's office sent notice of a property foreclosure and also notice of a price increase from Central Exterminating for 2023. A NOACA meeting will be held on December 1st, 2022 from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Lorain County Administration Building regarding changes to facility planning areas. Lorain County Health Department is looking for areas to host meetings regarding operation and maintenance of wastewater treatment. The Lorain County Community Alliance Roundtable will be held on Friday, December 2nd, 2022 from 9 to 11 a.m. at the LCC Spitzer Conference Center. Lastly, an invite to the Lorain County Township Association 2022 Christmas Party on Thursday, December 15th, 2022 at Camden Township, starting at 6:30 p.m. Cost to attend is $20 per person, and reservations are required by December 9th, 2022. Lorain County Auditor still has 11 computers they are giving away for free to townships as of 11/17/22. Under reports, zoning, 94 permits year-to-date with 23 new homes year-to-date, 3 permits so far this month. Under road, park, and cemetery, Road Superintendent Smarsh reported finishing up the potholes and leaf pickup will be finished tomorrow. Minor maintenance issues and minor salting over the weekend. Under Phase 2, community grants are now available for 2023. We are looking at another phase for Batten House Ditch. We also received an email from Jessica Polzowski of the Lorain County Stormwater Management District asking if Amherst Township had made their portion of the payment for the Angle Ditch Phase 3 project. Trustee Lynch believes that she is looking at the MOU for only part of the project, not the fact that the 2 project phases were combined to reduce costs, which it did. He questioned if the township owes anything or if it owes the original proportional amount owed. Trustee Lynch doesn't want the contractor to continue to wait for their funds and asked that we pass a resolution so if we receive an answer from the Lorain County Solid Stormwater District, we can move forward without a special meeting. 11-12-22, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Yurik. Move to authorize the fiscal officer pay Flow Properties, Inc., also known as Wolf Contracting, an amount not to exceed $25,120.87 as a township share for the Angle Ditch Restoration Phase 3 Restoration Project. Balance owed $26,626.15 is expected to be paid by the Lorain County Stormwater District. This is all predicated on the Lorain County Solid Stormwater District providing their policy. All ayes. 11-13, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Yurik. Move to change Georgianne Lynch title from secretary to the fiscal officer to administrative assistant. Roll call, Abraham and Yurik ayes, Lynch abstain. A discussion ensued regarding yard waste grinding costs. Trustee Yurik did receive an additional quote, and it was higher than the previous quote. Trustee Yurik was asked to contact the city of Elyria to see how they run their yard waste contract. Under complaints, they are being handled by the designated individual. Under new business, an update on the railroad quiet zone extending from Brownhelm Township and the city of Elyria. On November 18th, correspondence was sent by certified mail to the Federal Railroad Administration and Norfolk Southern Railroad. The consultant that was hired by the city of Amherst, Tim Dietrich of Quiet Zone Consulting, said to allow 2 weeks for a response from the FRA and the NS. If no response is received, Mr. Dietrich will make calls to FRA and NS. 11/14/22, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to enter executive session at 8 p.m. according to ORC sections 121.22G1 and 121.22G3 for personnel issues, 2023 compensation discussions, and pending property litigation. All ayes. 11/15/22, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to return from executive session at 8:35 p.m. All ayes. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, December 13th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. The 2022 end-of-year and 2023 organizational meeting will be held at 7 p.m. Tuesday, December 20th, 22 at the Amherst Township Hall. A record commission meeting is tentatively scheduled for December 20th at 6:30 p.m. 11/16/22, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Urick to adjourn at 8:36 p.m. Roll call was all ayes.
Okay, are there any changes or corrections to the November 22nd meeting minutes? Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second that motion.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Okey-dokey. Then we have the payment listing for the month. And obviously the Wolf contracting payment is in here. And
It was nice to get that finally worked
yes,
out in
yes.
detail. And,
They're very appreciative.
yeah, they were very patient.
Everything's pretty.
I was just looking at some of those that got voided out there, Chris. Usually you do that, but you end up seeing a repayment, kind of like the Treasurer Estates there down at the bottom.
Well, they were, I can tell you why they were avoided, because they were put in for 11/30 and they were put in for 12/13 and they showed up on our bank statement as 11/30, so I had to, in order to balance our bank rec.
Gotcha. That explains it.
So that was the payment listing, and then our year-to-date revenue is $2,037,527.92, and our expenditures are $1,514,238.78. Question?
You've answered the ones I had, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the financial reports and the payments of the items on the payment listing, which include ARPA fund expenditures as specified in the document provided by the fiscal officer.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
And what's the number on that, Chris?
That is 12/2.
12/2?
Yep, new month.
All right, was there anything else, Chris?
That was all I have.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. If anyone has anything to bring before the trustees, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll move on to correspondence and announcements. Chris?
I have none.
Okay, Denny?
No.
Okay, I do have a couple, but they all deal with agenda items, so we'll handle them at that time.
But you got trustees.
Okay, Sheriff's not here. Denny, there's no update on ambulance, correct?
Yes, there's an ambulance board meeting this Thursday at 6 o'clock at the Amherst Fire Station. There's an ambulance board meeting this Thursday, and that's called
The
by
15th.
the gal from ambulance service. She wants just to get not a raise, but get the thing in order for this next year.
Contract, okay. I think Chief Wilhelm from Amherst Fire Department had mentioned this as being a possibility of previous meeting. So that's,
Right.
what time is that?
It's at 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
At 6 o'clock at the Amherst Fire Station?
Yes,
That'll be Thursday.
that'll be
12/15.
Thursday.
Okay, Sheriff, move on to zoning. Sam, got you in the middle there, and
Sorry. You guys have the list of permits. We've had 2 permits this month, brings us to a total of 99 year-to-date. Just any questions on that? We're up to 24 new homes.
24?
Yep.
Okay.
Also, 1132 K Drive, the gentleman with the shed, he got it moved.
oh, good.
He hasn't come in and paid for the permit yet, but he will. So, we're getting there.
You haven't come in yet to do what?
To pay for the permit, he never pulled a permit.
Oh, gotcha.
One thing at a time.
Okay. Right, so that's the one under complaint. We won't have to do that, so it's,
Well, no, we just got a recent complaint for, what's the address, Linda?
That's for Corondo 7110.
Hidden Valley?
That's in your packet.
yeah, and is that, as far as that one, Sam, I mean, you can look at it. I don't know the history on that.
I watched the whole tape of the original hearing and everything. Yeah, he's not in compliance.
Okay, so it'll have to come into compliance.
Yeah, we've found several that need to be reevaluated. We'll be sending them letters and we'll get to it. all of
Okay.
them.
Okay. Yeah, and that, Linda did provide copies in the packets here for everybody. I just didn't have it on the agenda because the agenda was already prepared before that complaint came
Yeah.
in. All right, so you had the 2 additional homes since our last meeting. Were those both in Hampshire Farms subdivision? We had 22.
I want to say one was, I don't have it in front of me.
Papers on file.
Where was the other?
File.
Fowl Road.
Foul, that's it, Foul Road. Gosh, she has a memory.
That's probably, I know Georgianne was out there to get new addresses for the newsletter too on file. It's amazing how that's filling up.
Yep.
Okay, are there any questions for Sam on zoning? Okay, Fire Prevention Officer Chris Nyhart was here already and is left. Okay, Roads, Parks, and Cemeteries, Superintendent Smarsh.
We've been on some potholes, trash cleanup in ditches, which we ended up going through each of the roadside ditches, and we came up with 22 full bags of garbage.
Wow.
Somebody's likes that raspberry. What's the drink they're all drinking now? White Claw.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's Chris.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
how
uh-huh.
many bags?
22.
22, wow.
I bet you there was every bit of 50 black raspberry White Claw cans.
Well, it's amazing how that stuff, especially those plastic bags, and I've seen milk jugs plug up the open sewers there, and
Absolutely.
water backs up. Glad you got them, wow.
We removed some dead trees that were in the right-of-ways on Oberlin Road and Stang Road. We ended up fixing in-house a steering box on the '06 International dump truck. The compost pile has been ground. He was finished up with that this evening, about 4:30. So that just needs to be hauled out now. At least it's ground. I did get a estimate for a new mower that we have budgeted for next year. We put in the budget, which was told to me back in September, of somewhere right around $12,000 to $15,000 would be on the safe side. So we went with the 15,000. This estimate is 15,759.
Okay.
This would be the, say a more heavier duty one in the sense to where it still would match everything that we have. But I'm saying to get other estimates, they should be lower than.
Okay, well, as long as it's got the, the sturdy deck and the rotors, and also you gotta have the comfort level too, since you don't want it jarring your teeth
Absolutely,
going through.
absolutely.
But that'll be in next year's budget anyway, and Chris will be providing that at our next meeting.
Yes. Yeah, I was just kind of getting a ballpark because they stopped in,
Good.
so we got that, at least on the roll. Everything's been going along pretty good. There's supposed to be some weather possibly coming up here shortly, like we'll be ready for it. And the new guy is working out excellent. And, he seems to be real happy too as well.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yes.
I don't know if there's, between the trustees have had much interaction with Russ since he's been here. You know how it is, usually when an employee comes in the road department, you don't see him much, They're out working and the times are different between the officers.
It's going good. Thumbs up.
Good. All right, anything else?
Well, were you going to bring up anything on the Oberlin Road?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, yeah, what Kevin's referring to, if you look in your packet, you've got the District 9 met on the Ohio Public Works Commission projects, and if you recall, the township had two projects that we had applied for partial funding on, both of them also including a 0% loan component. We were approved for the Oberlin Road project. That project cost is approximately $246,000 based on the engineer's estimate. Our request in terms of funding is $145,000 total, and a portion of that, $23,200, would be the 0% loan, probably going to be a 12-year period, but that'll be up to the OPWC when they send it to us. But typically for the, since it's an asphalt road, is those loans are committed for 12 years. So we're looking at roughly, just under $122,000, we hope, in grant funds. The balance of that, over half of the project cost, will come out of the township funds. So we did get approved there, and if you look at the scoring sheets on the next page, you can see that the highest scoring project, getting 65 points, was for the city of Oberlin for some street resurfacing, and then the Amherst Township Oberlin Road project scored at 53. So we were up there in the scoring. The cutoff point in terms of the scoring was at 48. Realize there's a series of criteria, and we know those criteria when we submit the grant application. We try to structure the application and also what we have our estimated contribution, funding, loan component to be to score as highly as we can within our budget. But the project we turned in on the Moss Canyon concrete replacement, which was a $90,000 project, we are on what they call the unfunded list. I don't expect we will receive funding, though, because of the number of projects that are ahead of us. there's 11 projects from various communities ahead of us, and realize this includes Medina and Huron County also, so everybody's competing for the same funds. And those project scores, the highest is right at 48, which was the cutoff, so somewhere right there is a tiebreaker, if you will, and still didn't get funded, because some at 48 did, but usually what happens there, you're getting down to the residual money that's left, but there's only so much there that they can distribute. And so if, like the next one in the unfunded list from Medina County Engineers, a $250,000 project, well, if there was only 100,000 left, the same person that got a score of 48, they got in there, whereas the Medina County one did not. But, you know, we're close. We got a 45, and we've got to hope that those 11 either get funded or something else happens. And we've had this happen for us in the past. Somebody may get a project delayed or decide they don't have their own funds to pull the project off. And so if that project, they decide not to do it or get put on hold, we might rise up into that. And who knows with the way costs have been escalating, realize the engineer's estimates are from a year ago. And we saw in our last project on Dewey Road, remember the engineer had to come through with a change because all of their projects were going up significantly with the inflation component. So they had gone ahead and redid that just prior to us going out for bid so that we didn't have to reject all bids and start over. And fortunately, we came in just under that revised estimate. So that may happen with these others. So we'll have to wait and see, but we got one project was funded, one was not. So our decision, Kevin, you know, is going to be just using internal funds, or can we put it off next year, and what do we need to do to score better? The second item deals with the Hampshire Farm subdivision. You can see that the Lorraine County Board of Commissioners did have on their agenda the last meeting in November. On November 30th, they adopted resolution number 22832, accepting on behalf of Amherst Township Trustees the improvements of Hampshire Farms. That's right off Overland Road here, just south of North Ridge. And that includes now the additional road mileage of concrete streets. This will actually be at .338 miles for those two streets, Hampshire Court and Herman Way. I don't think yet, Kevin, you'll have to check with them. You're probably not salting any of that yet. And you'll have to work with them. I don't know that you'll even be plowing yet. But you know, they've got all sorts of construction equipment back there, and they're still putting up homes. But we do have residents living back there now, too, so we've got to take care of it. Okay, so you're probably going to have to work with the developer on that. Maybe they can, you know, they've got to keep things cleared, too. They've got equipment running down there all the time. Maybe they'll just run it through with one of their big backhoes or something like that back there. So that's all I had for roads. I didn't know if David or Denny had anything additional there.
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, David has shown up here, and so we do have Tom Mangan from the prosecutor's office here to address us on a possible legal issue. And just so the trustees are aware, there are actually the 4 different items we have a need for executive session tonight, but trust me, most of them are going to be relatively short. But I only want to get the 2 done first because this will be with the one in terms of the potential and imminent litigation, the other one on a unsolicited proposal we had for a land purchase, and for that one I'll need you in there, Kevin, just so that everybody's on the same page with this. So I'm going to make a motion that the trustees enter into executive session per ORC section 121.22 G3 for a conference with their attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent court action, and this is over a land use issue. And then also per one, if I can just combine these, per 121.22G. Let me find it here. This is for the consideration of purchase. Had it here before. To consider the purchase of property for public purpose. And this is just, again, this was an unsolicited proposal from a property owner that adjoins existing township property.
I'll
Okay.
second that motion.
I have, that is
12-4,
12-3.
12-3.
Did you need me to repeat that,
No,
though?
I'm just making sure. It is G4, is that,
Or G2?
I've got G3.
All right, and then it's G2
Thank
was
you.
the purchase
Okay.
of the property for public
I
purpose.
got it. Denny seconded?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we return to the regular session from the executive session at 8:04 PM.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on in the agenda. Township Administrator Linda Ashley.
First thing is that we have the Wreaths Across America is on Saturday, the 17th, and we will be at Kindig Cemetery at 11 a.m. for an honor guard ceremony for the wreaths around the flagpole, and then there will be a wreath planted or put at each gravesite of the veterans. Kathy Kennedy has already been out and marked all the graves with flags. Middle Ridge Road is going to be at 11:30. So
You're going to be at Kendig first then at 7 a.m.?
Kindig at 11, Middle Ridge at 11:30. All are invited to come. There's going to be some Girl Scout troops. I'm not sure, there's 10 cemeteries that she's in charge of, and she's got people dispersed to go all over, so I'm not sure exactly which groups will be at which cemetery.
Say 11 a.m.?
11 a.m. on Saturday the 17th.
Kendig.
At Kendig. And then Middle Ridge will be at 11:30. So I'll be out there overseeing at Kindig. Hopefully I can get to Middle Ridge by 11:30. If not, Kathy's going to be there at 11:30, and as soon as I get there, she's going to leave to go to Ridge Hill. So we're going to kind of tag team it a little
Do you
bit.
know how many veterans' graves are in the two cemeteries?
There were 13 in the one and 20 in the other,
Okay, so 35,
33.
33?
Yeah.
15 and?
13.
13, okay.
13 and 20.
Okay.
And right now, off the top of my head, I cannot tell you which one had 20 and which one had 13. And as I said, she already put flags up at all the veterans' graves so that it'll be easy for wreath placement. And she did get enough contributions to cover all the veterans in our two cemeteries. And then as far as the Thriving Community Grant, and I believe that was discussed at the last meeting, I did apply for that on the 6th of December. We'll see if we get it. I don't know, I'm not too confident that we met all the criteria. They actually were looking for, I think, more poverty-stricken areas, blighted areas, tribal areas, that kind of stuff. And we didn't really qualify for that. According to the census, we're very low on the poverty level in some of our areas. Our census, we have 501, 503, and 517 are our three census areas. Two of them they said it was zero poverty, and then one had a very small percentage.
The difficulty was, just so the rest of the board here is aware of that, Linda, the funding here is from the infrastructure bill that Congress passed.
Yes.
And when this was sent to the township, what Linda's actually put together, and nothing's ever easy when you're dealing with the federal government. They made it sound like this was going to be easy. You have to submit a letter of interest, which you just put online. So you're not getting actual funding or applying for specific items yet, just a letter of interest submitted, and they will help you because it's for smaller communities like township that don't have the staff in place, like a community development department, grant writers, and the whole bit. So it all sounded good with the summary they gave us, but once Linda got online, because that's what you got to do, oh my gosh, the requirements they had in there, and it seemed like it was more already targeting the funding for certain areas. So we'll just wait and see. But if you didn't get a letter of interest in,
You weren't
you
able to
didn't,
get it.
yeah, you didn't even have a chance. So supposedly, if they approve us, what they're approving is provide help in applying for the funding. And we're not really sure what that help is in applying for the funding, but.
Because
if
we don't
it's
have
stri-
grant writers, we don't have the staff to go out and seek all the
No,
grants out there and the financial help. So this should help us if we get it.
right.
We'll see.
We'll see, but I
We applied.
appreciate you because it was on December, you had a week, I think, from the time of notice, to the time of getting it in.
Right. And we had to come up with a couple community partners in that
Right.
time too. And we had to read a ton of information. It kept pointing me, it was like a rabbit hole. You'd read something and it would say, refer to this, and then you'd have to refer to that, and it just kept going and going. And I don't even know if I put the right information in. We'll see.
Yeah, well,
I did the best.
again, if you didn't apply, you have zero chance. So
Right.
now it may be a small chance, but you have some chance.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, was there anything else then, Linda?
The only other thing is that we did get the computer from the auditor site where they
Oh,
were
good.
giving out their old computers. I haven't had a chance to set it up yet, but it will be set up in the second desk there, and that way we'll have a computer that somebody can use for Word. It's not going to have any documents on it, it's not going to have any information on it. It'll be solely used for typing out Word documents if somebody needs it. If we can maybe hire a data entry person again this summer, like we tried to last summer, we could put something on there with a thumb drive and have them work on documents and inputting data. But that will be solely what this computer's for. So other than that, that's it. And thank you, Chris, for bringing it. She was our
Oh,
go-to. She was our delivery person.
okay, good.
I was there.
Is there any questions for Linda? All right, now we'll move on. I think we can get through this before we have to go into executive session for the personnel and the other marketing item dealing with economic development on the TIF update. So we'll move on to the complaints. Sam's already addressed the one with the shed there on Bay Drive. The other two are just held open as far as the sandstone development complaints, as far as what the residents are looking for in terms of dust created. But we do have a new complaint that just came in, and this is the one on Middle Ridge, which Sam also addressed. He's even reviewed the final tape, and he'll get with the the business owner here to make sure they come in compliance. I'm just going to mark that down on here, Sam, only because this came in after the agenda was published. Okay, as far as the other items on the agenda that are assigned specific responsibility of the trustees, is there any update to bring forward?
I have one item, Neil, under solid waste, under the solid waste grant. I did request and receive an extension to the end of the year to file the completion report. This is due to giving us time to get the grinding finished and get the bill paid. So that
Okay. Did you give David an update on the grinding there? He missed it earlier in your report, I think.
Right when I was, right when I walked in.
He completed the grinding today. Now we'll just be working on getting it hauled out, but the grinding is completed today.
But you're going to need to see
You'll be
the
able
actual invoice, right, David?
Get the invoice,
Uh,
invoice and payment. So
That'll,
get that for next Tuesday so we can have it paid, and then I can get a copy of that.
absolutely. Definitely have it by then.
That'll work out well then. Paperwork together and just get that over there. And then
Got 7 days.
we may,
Not, I mean, They've got to
get
do
the
their
bill in
part.
here, yeah. Well, they can
Well,
fax
they got to
something.
do their part. Chris has to get the payment together, and then has to be here and ready to go on the 20th.
It will be.
Okay. All right, anything else, David?
No, I just wanted to let you know that.
All right, Denny? Okay, the only item then I'll bring an update on is the railroad quiet zone. As I reported at the last meeting, the certified letter was sent to Norfolk Southern Railroad and the Federal Railroad Administration on November 18th. The consultant said, give it a few weeks, at least 2, before we follow up. I had contacted the consultant on December 12th to see what was going on. The consultant had already contacted his contact in Atlanta, and all he indicated was, she said, it just seems like every town and its brother has decided to apply for quiet zones, so she must be buried in them. He was trying to encourage this one to get moved to the top because he thought it was simpler and easier. Realized he's working on one county-wide down in Florida, which is much more involved than ours. The consultant did recommend that if we want to get any further updates, the one that would probably hear first is actually going to be Mayor Costello in the city of Amherst. That's where it was initiated, and that's where the FRA's contact on the certified letter will be back. So I'll be in contact with the mayor. Obviously, we've got residents calling that have been involved in this, wanting to know the status. But the consultant also indicated, don't be surprised if the railroad engineers stop their horns before you receive notice. He's had experience with that, where the FRA and the railroad will internally send out the memo to the engineers to stop using the train horn, and as long as they've read their memo, that'll stop, which could even happen before the railroad puts up their signs on the railroad itself. So we'll just have to wait and see. I did tell the consultant, well, I'll work with Mark Costello, but come the middle of January, I'm going to follow back up with a consultant to try and keep them moving along, since he's got these internal contracts, and he's also working on other quiet zones. So there are contacts that we don't have to try and get this thing buttoned up here, when hopefully with the approvals on it. And I think I reported before there was an adjustment we had to make for the city of Elyria, which they did get completed. I've had that verified over on West Ridge. They just had to get the one of the delineators closer to the crossing gate, and they did take care of that. So I'll follow up and keep you guys posted on that. There will be an article in the next newsletter just explaining the quiet zone to people, but we just don't have the final approval on it till we actually get the notice back from the FRA. Okay, is there any other business? Okay, if not, then I'm going to make a motion that we enter into executive session for 121.22 G1.
Oh, one.
We're going to first start with 1.
Okay.
This is to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, and demotion and compensation of public employees, or complaints against the public employee or official. And then the other one, I'll let you catch up, Chris.
I'll have to grab it off the sheet.
Okay. And the other one will be per 121.22 G8, to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, and it goes on. But the main item here is the, let me find it, the 5709.73, I'm sorry, 0.73 to 5709.81. And that'll more deal with the TIF discussion on sandstone with the county and the schools. Okay.
Now, a question. I know that.
Well,
Bill and
there's a
Sam and-
motion on the floor.
Okay.
Let's second the motion. I'll second it.
Well, I wanted to make sure before,
Okay, now
Well,
discussion.
we can second it and,
Then discussion.
Right,
okay.
okay,
so go
second.
ahead.
Okay. They're the concern, Bill and Steve.
So we'll do that.
Sam is,
We'll do
That gonna
that
be-
first, and personnel,
Okay, that's
because,
gonna be, well, that's part of this too, we're gonna do that there.
Right.
I know we talked back and forth, and, Tom said something about, talking to a trustee individually. The thought was bring it before the board to talk as a group, but, I just,
no, you
I
can-
wanted to know which way we're gonna go with
let me
this.
make it clear. We can talk as a group. My concern, which I tried to express to you, David, at the first motion, is that we made a motion to go into executive
It
session.
wasn't the right topic.
No, we did it for legal,
Okay.
for imminent litigation, and we did it for the land purchase for a public purpose. And then you brought up something dealing with personnel, and that's why it's, wait a minute, we didn't make any motion to go into executive session.
For personnel.
Yeah, so we have to come back to the meeting now and go into personnel, which we originally intended to go into personnel, but more to get things down in terms of the adjustments in wages and adjustments in positions for our next board meeting where the actual decision will be made.
I know.
But now, since they're here, we can deal with
Okay,
this.
good. Good. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Right. And
Because I know Tom said something about going to a trustee individually, and I want to make sure that, in our mindset, how we were going to handle this, bring them forward in executive session. Okay, good. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
All right.
All right, roll call, Chris, when you're ready.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we return from executive session to the regular meeting at 9:40 PM.
I'll second that.
Lynch,
Yes?
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes.
Okay, is there any other business?
No, not as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Hearing none, our next meeting will be the 2022 end of year and 2023 organizational meeting at 7:00 PM on Tuesday, December 20th. Chris, I just need to know from you if prior to that, we hold a records commission meeting
6:30.
at 6:30. Okay, so we'll definitely have a records commission meeting at 6:30. And I'm not going to schedule a,
I have 5:30 for the meeting. Is that correct?
no,
That's records.
records commission at 6:30.
Right.
And then the org meeting at 7. Need something to write with. And do you want me to, Chris, you're actually, are you not available on 12/27, even as an emergency? The question is just whether we cancel that and post it as canceled or not.
I don't know. We go to the surgeon next Wednesday, so I'll
Okay.
know if,
Well, just all I want to do is make sure we post if we're canceling it. Otherwise, we could hold it open if there's anything special comes up that's an emergency. All right, otherwise, we'll just cancel the 27th. But right now, we'll consider it tentatively canceled.
I mean, I still won't even know
Sure.
next Tuesday. I still won't know. I won't know
Gotcha.
until Wednesday.
Okay, well, you let me know. What we'll do is if we know for sure you're not available, we're just going to outright cancel that.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd like to just keep it open as a just in case.
Okay.
So we don't have to post for a special meeting. Okay, is there any other business?
No?
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.